just doing shh, right? So there's 2 people already, if you wanted to do this on stage. 2 people. We also have track 2. A bass line, so that's a third. Now we have a trombone player. Track 3, we have all of this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. So now we're up to 8. And track 4. There's 2 more. Now we're up to 10. And of course, I'm playing live, doing the solo. So that's 11 people. You would need 11 people to do all of this. And 10 of them would be doing something very boring over and over and over and over and over. So, as you hear on track 3, there's 5 tracks there. I can't go back. So if I made a mistake on the 4th one, I can't go back. There's no undo button. So it is very much a live performance, just like in the open. If you play something and it's a mistake, you can't take it back. And so it makes us kind of think a little bit better about that stuff as looping professionals. Does anybody have any questions so far? This is yours. Yes?
How long have you been doing this?
How long have I been doing this? So I've been playing trombone since I was in 5th grade. I think that's normal, right? People pick up an instrument around then. 5th, 6th, around there. I went to school. I went to the SUNY Purchase Conservatory of Music in New York for classical music, for classical trombone performance. So that was in 2010. And I started doing recordings then. Like the first one you heard, Stay With Me. I did that kind of thing back then, where I was just doing a 4-part recording, pre-recorded stuff and all. So that was then, and then around maybe 2013, I started doing looping. And the reason was because I wanted to do these 4-part recordings of popular tunes. So I was doing like Beatles songs, stuff that I liked listening to. And one was Viva La Vida. You guys know that song? Coldplay? And so I started arranging it. And you know how it goes, jump, 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 right? Then what happens? It does it again, and again, and again. And I was writing out the bass line for a trombone, and I was going, this is gonna be really boring to play, like over and over. And I don't know if you know this, but every other part in that song, the harmonies, for the verse, the bridge, the chorus, all of it, it's the same thing. The only thing that changes is the voice and a little bit of the percussion. And so I decided I was not going to play that for 6.5 minutes, and instead I was going to loop it. And so I started experimenting with that. And so I only got this looper probably 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, it hasn't been that long at all. Somebody had a question over here. Yes? What inspired me to make my YouTube channel? So I was making these 4-part arrangements of like Beatles songs and that kind of stuff, and I was recording the parts myself, and then I had this recording, and I thought I should probably do something with it. And so I had my YouTube channel, and I just threw it up there, but nobody actually listened to it or watched it for like 3 years. I mean, there were a couple people, but it was probably, maybe 3 years is an exaggeration, but it was a couple years for sure where I was putting up videos, not every week, but I was putting up videos pretty regularly, and people weren't watching them, but I wasn't really trying to get people to watch them. I was just finishing a project and putting it on YouTube because that was a way for me to close the door on that project and not keep working on it. So yeah, it was just a kind of this like space to put my stuff that I was working on as kind of a, over time, I could look back and see my progress over time, but it was not for the public. I mean, it was, obviously. YouTubers that I would consider
I'm putting
more.
this on
Yes.
Snapchat.
How old am I? I'm 26. Back here?
Have you ever had any doubts?
One more time.
Have you ever had any doubts with trombone?
Any doubts? Sure. Yeah. When I was in college, my first semester, I was thinking about quitting because it was really I was not getting much better very fast. And then I decided to play less classical music because my college program was to get me into an orchestra, a major orchestra. And instead, I decided to do this stuff, right? And so I was kind of being judged on how well I could play in an orchestra when really I was doing something completely different, or should have been doing something completely different. But yeah, there was a moment where I was going to change gears and instead write pop songs for a living.
Okay.
You guys want me to play something else? Alright, let's do it. Like, I can talk all day, but this would be more fun.
I'm gonna record this whole thing.
I haven't done this one live yet, so I feel like we might as well give it a shot. But if it goes poorly, just forgive me. Alright,
I'm recording this. I'm either gonna put it on YouTube or put it on my Snapchat. They do. Yeah. Your mom. What's wrong?
have to practice for a concert or something, and you want to go to sleep, and you hate it, but you do it anyway. And so, for my purposes, I never play music when I don't want to. I just kind of recalibrate my brain to remember why I love it. And so I don't force myself to play, I force myself to want to play, if that makes sense. And if I can't get there mentally, then I don't, because I never want this to be a chore. Yeah. A Fortnite dance? I can. Do it. But I will not. You're very good, I'll embarrass myself. Go ahead, right here. Yeah, you're looking around it too. Yeah. Make my own music, like original stuff? I have an album on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play called Half Man, Half Machine. Available today. So yes, and I've done it. And it's great. You should all listen to it. I can do a song off of it.
No, I'm not. Oh, I am.
I never know what I've been here for. Two people are asking questions at the same time. We're going to start here, and then we're going to go to whoever else is talking. My favorite collaborator? It's got to be Matt. He's such a funny guy. He's this Australian dude, and he's just like, he's all about like fart jokes and stuff, but he's an amazing musician, so he's funny. Who was the other one who was talking? Just ask your question. Go ahead.
How many hours of practice goes into each song?
So, hours of practice in each song. It's, in college, we would practice like 4 to 6 hours a day, but that's all we were doing, right? Now, I travel a lot, and I don't have much time to do that stuff, so I actually don't practice my videos. What I do is I write the arrangement, I print it out, I put it on my iPad, and then I hit record. And so the very first time I play this, as I'm sight reading it, I mean, I wrote it, so it's not truly sight reading, but as I'm reading it the first time, I'm recording, and I'm trying to play it right. So I'm not wasting any